Tonight I shared with my colleagues what I think it will take to have a unified conference and for the next speaker to be successful. Basically, I made a few requests for what I think is necessary, and I asked my colleagues to hear back from them by the end of the week. First, we need to move from an opposition party to being a proposition party. Because we think the nation is on the wrong path, we have a duty to show the right one. Our next speaker has to be a visionary one. Second, we need to update our House rules so that everyone can be a more effective representative. This is, after all, the people's house. But we need to do this as a team. And it needs to include fixes that ensure that we do not experience constant leadership challenges and crises. Third, we as a conference should unify now and not after a divisive speaker election. And the last point is personal. I cannot and I will not give up my family time. I may not be on the road as often as previous speakers, but I pledge to try and make up for it with more time communicating our vision, our message. What I told members is, if you can agree to these requests, and if I can truly be a unifying figure, then I will gladly serve. And if I'm not unifying, that will be fine as well. I'll be happy to stay where I am at the Ways and Means Committee. Here is how I see it. It is our duty to serve the people the way they deserve to be served. It is our duty to make the tough decisions this country needs to get our nation back on track. The challenges we face today are too difficult and too demanding to turn our backs and walk away. Global terror, war on multiple fronts, a government grown unaccountable, unconstitutional, out of touch, persistent poverty, a sluggish economy, flat wages, a skyrocketing debt. But we cannot take on these challenges alone. Now more than ever, we must work together. All of us are representatives of the people, all people. We have been entrusted by them to lead. And yet, the people we serve, they do not feel that we are delivering on the job that they hired us to do. We have become the problem. If my colleagues entrust me to be the speaker, I want us to become the solution. One thing I've learned from my upbringing in Janesville is that nothing is ever solved by blaming people. We can blame the president. We can blame the media. And that's kind of fun sometimes. We can point fingers across the aisle. We can blame each other. We can dismiss our critics and criticism as unfair. People don't care about blame. People don't care about effort. People care about results. Results that are measurable. Results that are meaningful. Results that make a difference in their daily lives. I want to be clear about this. I think that we are still an exceptional country with exceptional people and a republic clearly worth fighting for. The American idea, it's not too late to save, but we are running out of time. And make no mistake, I believe that the ideas and principles of results-driven common sense conservatism are the keys to a better tomorrow. A tomorrow in which all of God's children will be better off than they are today. The idea that the role of the federal government is not to facilitate dependency, but to create an environment of opportunity for everyone. The idea that government should do less and do it better. The idea that those who serve should say what they mean and mean what they say. The principle that we should all determine the course of our own lives instead of ceding that right to those who think that they are better than the rest of us. Yes, we will stand and we will fight when we must, and surely this presidency will require that. A commitment to natural rights, a commitment to common sense, to compassion, to cooperation, when rooted in genuine conviction and principle, is a commitment to conservatism. Let me close by saying, I consider to do this with reluctance. And I mean that in the most personal of ways. Like many of you, Jana and I have children who are in the formative, foundational years of their lives. I genuinely worry about the consequences that my agreeing to serve will have on them. Will they experience the viciousness and incivility that we all face here on a daily basis? But my greatest worry is the consequence of not stepping up. Of someday having my own kids ask me, when the stakes were so high, why didn't you do all you could do? Why didn't you stand and fight for my future when you had a chance to do so? None of us wants to hear that question, and none of us should ever have to. I have shown my colleagues what I think success looks like, what I think it takes to unify and lead, and how my family commitments come first. I have left this decision in their hands, and should they agree with these requests, then I am happy and I am willing to get to work. Thank you.
Mr. Ryna,
Chad.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. What happened in the past couple of weeks? You put out a statement after Kevin McCarthy withdrew within minutes. You were, very cagey in the hall here. You said that, you had concern about consequences of not serving. Is that the underlying issue here when people are coming to you?
This is not a job I've ever wanted, I've ever sought. I'm in the job I've always wanted here in Congress. I came to the conclusion that this is a very dire moment, not just for Congress, not just for the Republican Party, but for our country. And I think our country is in desperate need of leadership.
Mr. Ryan, do you think that you possess the capabilities of actually unifying this conference? They've gone after John Boehner's head. They've gone after Kevin McCarthy's head. What assurances do you have that you won't be the next one?
I laid out for our conference what I think it takes to unify this conference, what I think it takes to have a successful speakership, and it's in their hands. And I'll leave it up to my colleagues to decide if I am that unifying person.
What do you need? Do you need 235 votes?
Vote inside your conference before you want to vote on the floor. Would you want to?
That's what we always do.
Well, I mean, in terms of would you want a unanimous vote?
I laid it out today with our conference about all the various groups having their endorsement and being that unified cabinet. I'll give. I'm not going to get into that now. I think that's something that's got to be done as a conference as a whole by consensus. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sir.